Divineness is such a precious, special, if I may say, commodity, because it is the purity of self-knowledge. It's divineness is like, for me, the highest level of qualification any man or woman can have, which is a God-given and self-given doctorate in self-mastery. That is when I believe that when you have truly mastered the knowledge of self, you tap into that divinity. So I'm excited to be chatting with you. I'm excited to be talking to you, particularly during these dark times where it's so easy to forget, where it's so easy to ignore what it is that you are called to do because of all of these restrictions, and remind ourselves to come alive. We are being buried right now, but let's not forget that we are seeds. And every time we are buried in trouble, every time we are buried in a situation that we don't understand, it is an opportunity for us to grow even more. There was a pastor, I can't remember, one time I was at church and he was giving a sermon, and he says, when you reach a dead end and a decision needs to be made, there's only one decision you can make, a decision to go deeper. And where do seeds go to grow? They go deeper. They have to go deeper. Where do roots go to nourish plants? They go deeper. You either go deeper in negativity or you go deeper in positivity. You can't go anywhere else but deeper. We're afraid of rejection. I truly believe that the first fear we encounter when having to present our authentic selves, when having to present our thoughts, when having to present our nature, our character, when having to present our desires, even when having to kneel down and pray, or kneel down or pass, you are afraid of rejection. We are afraid of people looking at us and not appreciating what we have to offer. Because if you're true to yourself, I mean, I was writing here that you spoke about, diamonds and such. Even those natural resources, even those diamonds, when they are first dug up out of the soil, they are not presented as beautiful as they may be when they are refined and polished. So even they, in human form, I would assume, would have a fear of being rejected for being met in a chapter of their life when they are covered in soil and dirty and not as refined. So we are generally just afraid of rejection. The beginning of a relationship, you're afraid of rejection. The beginning of a work opportunity, you're afraid of rejection. The beginning of realizing that you are born for a greater purpose and a greater potential, you're afraid of rejection. Hence, majority of us don't truly live up to our truest potential, because we then tend to tell ourselves that we are not worthy. What will people say? What if people laugh at me? So what if people laugh? So what if people laugh? The biggest thing about my journey has been that people have been laughing at me for the longest time. People have been judging for the longest time. But I would rather you judge me for the authenticity that I have to put on the table than you judge me for a facade that I'm putting out to the world. The hardest thing to do in life is to be yourself. It's so easy to be anybody else. That is why during this time, majority of us are finding solitude in TikTok. If you think about TikTok, it offers you an opportunity to not have to be yourself, to not have to speak the words you truly want to speak, to not have to speak the thoughts that you truly want to think. Majority of us are using TikTok to take on the words of other people that have brought humor and light and connected to people in a way that has made them laugh. And we just don't want to be, for a moment, the selves that we have to deal with during this time, because we are afraid of even being rejected by ourselves.
True.
We're afraid of what solitude brings. When you go deeper, you isolate to elevate. When you are buried and you go deeper, it's like the cocoon to a butterfly. Before a butterfly is made into this beautiful thing that just colors up the sky, when it flaps its wings and makes the gardens, and when it sits on a rose or a flower, makes that rose seem even more attractive, is that it has gone through a darkness. It has gone through a depth of character definement. It has gone through a process of refinement, of being changed. And it needs to be brave enough to come out of the cocoon and say, here I am. And the minute you come out and you present yourself and you're consistent in the presentation of self, you then start to realize it's actually not a bad idea to be myself.